Hey folks, End of the Road Hans here. Today I'm covering the low stuff. Sorry that I'm late to the party. I had a very busy week. And yeah, it's just been a very busy week. Thursday and Friday I was straight up at home for like 2 hours, so yeah. Anyways, screw intros. The low stuff is here, and honestly, I do like this lineup. It has its flaws, don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I think they did a pretty good job with some of this stuff. But let's get to the first one.
I have the perfect resting place picked out just for you.
So that was their Popa Pumpkin guy. Um, who is okay. I probably lean a little more towards not liking this guy than liking him. Just because, like, the skull looks very cheap. And he's also a little bit of a Little Jack Carver ripoff. Especially because he's $200. So, it's not a lot for 200. Definitely a little overpriced. But if we want to talk about overpriced, there are much better examples in this lineup. But yeah, he's okay. A decent jump scare, but again, Lil Jack Carver from Spear did it better. Really not much to say about this guy. He's just kind of okay. Oh, right. The next one here is their pop-up Tombstone skeleton zombie guy. Who is $150, which compared to some of the other stuff isn't terrible. Granted, it's still pretty pricey for like a Tombstone prop, but we've seen much worse. But honestly, I like this guy. I think he's genuinely cool. He reminds me a lot of something Spirit would have done in like 2014 or 16 with all the Tombstone props, and I honestly really like that about him. Also, in his crypt, he has all those cobwebs that actually look really cool. I really like that detail, honestly, of him being like, yeah, a decayed, covered in cobweb skeleton. I do think this guy is maybe a little underrated, but I do see why he's not anyone's favorite of the lineup. Because he's nothing much, he's just a small little piece. But hey, he's a good one in my opinion. I mean, sure, he won't blow anybody away, but hey, I still like him.
Welcome, lost soul. Prepare yourself for the journey, for I'll be swift as the tide that come in, to take you away by the hand of darkness that arrives without warning before the break of day.
Alright, that demo was for the Ghost Ship Captain, which is, I'm a little mixed on him. Okay, well, I definitely think he's cool. He's cool. I think they said he's about 6.5 feet tall, which is pretty good. His face looks really good. I think his lines are alright. I don't really remember them, but they're like Ghost Captain lines, whatever. But the face looks good, the animation's good. He's just a little hard to use. I've seen that said a bit, which I definitely agree with, because it's like, if you don't have a boat, he's just a little weird. Like, if you just have him in your yard captaining nothing, it would just come off as a little strange. I mean, okay, I'm sure if you surrounded him with a bunch of ocean stuff, that would be alright, but yeah, he's a little weird in that sense, and he's also $350, which is definitely a little too much for him. And by a little, I mean a lot. That is way too much money for this guy. Again, we'll talk about the overpricing later. But yeah, for $350, I mean, even $300 would have been okay. But yeah, I'm not. That's not a great price for this guy. But hey, he looks cool, and he's at least a unique prop, so I'll give him that.
I know they're down here. I just can't see them yet. Oh, there they are. I've never seen anything like this. I'll at least get one before they get me.
Next up, we have what seems to be a lot of people's favorites of the lineup. Granted, he has had some disappointments, which is fair, but this is the Deep Sea Diver, who, yeah, there are some disappointments. Number one, he is also $350 for one animation, which really isn't great. And B, his audio is a little weird. I've heard people saying he sounds like Mr. Krabs, which is like, sure, I can hear it, but I don't really mind. I think the voice fits him okay. Definitely reminds me a bit more of the Exterminator than Mr. Krabs. So, like, hey, I don't really mind. I love the Exterminator, so like an underwater version of it, cool, that's fine. But his phrase doesn't really make a lot of sense, because at least the Exterminator was like, yelling at zombies to not kill him, or he's just delusional and thinks you're a zombie. Both of which are pretty cool ideas. But this guy's phrase is something like, I better not let them get me. And then he screams, which I don't really get. Is he talking about you? Or evil fish? That just kind of confuses me. I definitely think he could have been cooler if he was, just like creepy breathing. I think that would have been good, but I really don't mind his phrase. Of course, it's not that necessary, but yeah, I do think he's cool though. He looks really good in my opinion, and the animation works well. Granted, of course, he could have been a lot cheaper, but like the animation works okay. I think he looks really good. Like the whole seaweed details are great. And, like, the jumpsuit looks good. He looks very filled out, like actually human. And the skull is neat, too. But yeah, a slight letdown for some people, but I personally enjoy him.
The churning seas cast a spell evil to keep, summoning The churning seas cast a spell evil to keep, summoning monsters to rise from the deep. This evil cursed from my wretched lips. I am the destroyer of souls and sinker of ships.
Alright, next is the Siren Sea Witch. Which, by the way, I don't get why she's called the Siren Sea Witch. She doesn't really resemble a siren at all. Like she's not a woman with a bird's or mermaid body. I don't know. Sirens or something like that. Whatever. But, yeah, so that's the only things I don't get, the name. But she does look really good. And this is probably maybe the objectively best animatronic of the lineup. Because she has servos, which is quite neat, especially for Techie, since this is Techie's first foray into the whole servo space. And they did a really good job. Her animation's, like, pretty good. She, like, lifts a hand up, which is really neat. Great detail on the hand. Her head has the standard servo movement, but also, like, blinking and moving eyes. And her mouth moves really fluently. And she looks pretty nice and creepy. Like, I feel the thing about witches are that they either bomb so hard, they're either like the worst props of the lineup, or they're the best. There's no in between. They're either amazing or terrible. And I do think she is on the amazing side. Because she is just a really good witch. She looks genuinely scary. Her phrases are actually pretty cool. Seen some criticism about them being all ocean related, which I can definitely understand, because obviously she could pass as just a forest witch, but having the whole ocean thing kind of ties her to one theme. So I can definitely understand that, but still, throw her in like a bog or something and she'd still fit pretty well. But yeah, she's a really cool one. Now, one thing I will say is that everyone was talking about the heart on her staff, which would have been really cool, and I would have really liked that. But looking at it more close up, it's just a crab claw, which is like, meh, a heart would have been cooler. But yeah, that's pretty much a nitpick. But yeah, cool prop. I enjoy. Alright, this next one is the Handstand Clown, who, I gotta be honest, kinda grew off on me as time went on. Because at first I really, really liked him. Granted, I still have some respect for the character, but I don't know. The face looks a little weirder every time I look at it. I can't pinpoint why. And he also has no neck ruffles, which I just find, it makes sense why that's the case, but I just find that weird personally. But he is a pretty unique concept. His audio, thank God they didn't massacre him with any terrible phrases. But yeah, he just spins his head around and kicks. Cool animation. And like, he's a pretty unique concept with the balancing on the bowling pins upside down. He'd go well with stilts. But yeah, nothing that I like would desperately need to get. But I can definitely see why a lot of people like him. And I do like him. He's a cool prop. Just grew off on me a bit. But yeah, I'm glad they didn't overdo it with clowns this year. But he's an alright one. I definitely think they did some cool, unique things with him.
I've joined the soulless dead that crawl out of the waters under the light of the moon. So join me as we make our way back into the depths of the darkness.
Alright, so what we're talking about next is one of the most controversial ones of the lineup. Because when he first came out, and I never actually shared my opinions on him, but yeah, when his images first got leaked, everyone was all over him. But now seeing the video, some things have changed in the community. But yeah, this video is my thoughts, so that's what you'll hear. Personally, he's... Okay, we'll get to the price later. But honestly, in terms of looks, I think he's an A near S tier prop. Like, on looks alone. He looks great. Like, the clothing looks good. I honestly kind of like it how he doesn't have any shoes. I think he looks really creepy. And, like, especially the face. I love the whole rotting thing with the barnacles on it and the tentacles coming out of the mouth. He looks super Lovecraftian. Like a great Cthulhu cultist type thing. The only gripe I have with him on the looks, the only one, is that his hook hand looks really bad. Now, don't get me wrong, the concept of him having a hook on his hand is really cool. But it's just way too plasticky looking and shiny, and it just looks kind of terrible. Like, the sculpt is good, but just the paint job doesn't look good, and it looks very cheap. And for the price, that is not great. But other than that, his looks are amazing. And his animation, too, I think is really solid, honestly. Sure, he could have done a bit more, but he moves his hook up and down, and he, like, moves his mouth a little bit, turns his head, like, kind of rotates it sideways, but not, like, looking around. And I think that's a really cool animation. It's simple, but not overboard. Granted, his tentacles could have moved. I think that would have been amazing. Like, that would have definitely elevated him to maybe an S tier, honestly. But what brings him down a bit is the audio, which, granted, I don't hate the audio. It sounds a bit like it was done by a high schooler. And his phrase is okay. Of course, I am in the boat of wishing he hadn't talked. Because if it was just zombie gurgling and stuff, like bog zombie audio, that would have been great. Like, perfect. But yeah, I definitely can look past his audio. Because it's okay. It's definitely not the best, but I don't think it's abhorrent. It can definitely grow on me given time. But the main thing that takes away from this guy is the price. Because he is, again, $350. Which, for what you get, is not worth it. Because I think he's only like 6 feet. Sorry, not 7 feet. He's 6 feet. Which, yeah, that's not worth it. $350 for this. His animation is cool and simplistic, but it is not enough to be $350. And, like, his face looks really good, too. And his clothing looks good. But not $350 good. And, yeah, the prices this year are not good. At all, honestly. These are some of the worst priced props I've ever seen. But this guy is probably my favorite in the lineup. At the very least, second favorite. I personally like him. I can see why people wouldn't. But would I go out of my way to get this guy? Probably not. Just because that price is not good.
Who dares enter the Master's abode? Your soul shall be vanquished to the deepest, darkest dungeon if you do not leave now.
Alright, and the next one is their 12-foot tall Gravedigger. And I don't remember what my original opinions on this guy were. I know that people actually like him quite a bit, but I don't, personally. Because I know there was that prototype photo that came out, which I hope, or like, I think that was a prototype, but he had like the more like regular toned skin rather than just pale. And he had the big hat too, which I think was really cool. But the proportions on this guy just look so weird. Like, he has such a skinny shovel handle, but the shovel head itself is gigantic and like really wide and stuff. The skeleton's popping out of the back, which I don't really mind. It's a little cheesy, but I think it's okay. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of the face on this guy. With it being pale, it just does not look very good. And the eyes, well, it's cool that they're digital and look side to side. They just look a little too cartoony for me. And, I mean, the animation isn't much. Granted, 12-footers don't have to have animation, honestly, in my opinion. And, yeah, but and his audio I also don't really like. His voice doesn't work for me personally. I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of this guy. He just looks... He's in kind of a... I don't know how to put it. It's just in kind of a weird pose, especially with the shovel. Like, the shovel's a cool concept, but it just really throws me off. And, yeah, I don't really like this guy personally. I can maybe see why people do, but he is just certainly not for me.
I will not stop till I've expunged this new world of every outcast. Godless creatures!
My vengeance will be swift and true.
Alright, the next one we have here is the licensed Joseph Craftstone from Wednesday. And this is the first of their licensed things that I'm talking about. And okay, he looks cool. He's 7.5 feet tall, and I have not seen Wednesday. I don't really want to, honestly. I have no idea who Joseph Craftstone is. I only found out that he was a character in the show at all through this animatronic. But he looks cool. I like his evil pilgrim aesthetic, but I'm pretty sure that's more something to go with the show. And his animation is okay. Like, the just turning side to side is all he'd really need. And the fog is cool too. I think his audio is honestly kind of cool. I mean, I'm sure it's just from the show. But, you know, I think it works well. Of course, if you've seen the show, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Of course, not something I really care for because I haven't really seen Wednesday. I don't give a damn about the Addams Family. But I would like you to forget everything I just said because this guy is $450. 450. Those are the digits in his price. And say it with me, that's fucking insane. Pardon my French, but holy shit. The fact that they think people are gonna pay for this is absolutely absurd. I know with the whole price thing, I was talking about how I'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, this is the one, because he is more expensive than the average Home Depot 12-footer. And those are like thick metal bases, thick plastic, they'll last you a damn while. But this guy's only 7.5 feet, not even 8 feet. And he is more expensive than them. He has one animation, just one, because I technically don't count fog to be an animation. And he is, only 7.5 feet, one animation. He's by Techie Design, which is like, I like Techie, but no, just no. Like, because if he was Distortions or something, sure, you'd get that, but Techie, no. And, like, oh my god. Okay, Party City has made that Art the Clown and the Pale Girl from Terrifier 2. And I haven't made an opinions video on it. I recorded one, but I have not posted it yet. But I absolutely love those animatronics. And both of them, prices combined, are $430. $20 less than this guy. And that gives you 2 animatronics officially licensed for a total of 7 animations. For $20 less than this dude. And they're officially licensed. And that is crazy. Like, this is an absolutely ludicrous price. Oh my god. I'm sure people have shot their mouth off about it already. But, holy crap. $450. That's like one of the most expensive retail animatronics we've seen. Aside from maybe a few of the Party City props. But even they were like 9 and 12 feet. So, yeah, maybe this takes the cake, aside from maybe Crypt Keeper, of being the worst priced animatronic in the retail industry. I don't know, ever. Yeah, so that's my opinion on him. Next, we have the Wednesday Addams, which I won't be playing the audio because apparently it's copyrighted. But yeah, it just plays the instrumental of Goo Goo Muck. And I haven't seen Wednesday again, and this is probably the least interested I am of any of the props. The animation is weird. I get what they were going for with the whole dance, but it's just really slow and like, yeah. And okay, the audio's fine. The audio's like, alright. The likeness isn't that great, but honestly, that's probably for the best because it means hopefully less people would buy it for nefarious purposes. So let your mind do with that what it will. And I know that's a weird thing to say, but I've seen the comments of people liking this animatronic. But yeah, it's a little weird because I usually wouldn't buy protagonist animatronics, and you don't really see any of them. Granted, if they ever came out with an Ash Williams from Evil Dead with like the chainsaw hand and boomstick, holy crap, I'd buy that in a heartbeat. But this isn't Ash Williams. This is Wednesday Addams. So yeah, nah, I don't really like this one personally. Alright, and next, again, I won't be playing the audio because it's copyrighted, but it's just the the Addams Family theme. But yeah, this is their life-size cousin It, which I really don't have much to say about. The audio's fine, animation's fine. I don't remember its price. I don't think I saw. But he at least resembles the character quite a bit. But yeah, I don't care.
Boo! Boo, 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 boo! Boo, 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 boo! Trick or treat, yo, smell these feet? Huh, give me something good to eat. I want candy, and it better be quick. Give me the king size, or I'll be bringing the trick. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Reapers are coming when you hear that knock on the door. I'll say boo! Boo, 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 boo! Boo, 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 ah!
Okay. And last, we have the Rapping Reaper. I mean, no hyperbole here. This is the greatest animatronic of all time. This is the animatronic that all other animatronics wish they were, dude. This is like, the fact that they're charging, I don't even remember what the price is, but I know it is not enough. I would easily buy this for like 1,000. Dude, if they sold it for 10,000, I'm picking up all of them. I don't care. Like, this is genuinely the greatest animatronic ever released, especially the part where he said, yo, boo, 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 boo. I can't stop thinking about this. I love it so much. If you have a different favorite animatronic of all time, straight up fuck you. No offense. Full offense intended. I don't know. Just get good. Enjoy real animatronics, like this one. This is the only animatronic that ever matters, and yeah, there you go. That's all I need to say. Alright, and that's the Lowe's lineup. Like and subscribe if you're new. Tell me what you think of these animatronics in the comments below. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.